Hey, welcome everybody. Nick Sorensen here to discuss all things social lift on this week's product showcase. We have actually had EarthEnvi and Social Lift on before, but it is a top-notch product. We believe it is definitely when we say it's a home run hero product. I believe that it is that to the core times a lot, just because it is something that you can notice and you can experience. And I love science. You guys know me. I dive into it a lot. I like to highlight on it. It brings a lot of validation and confirmation on products that we're taking the right thing. But when you combine that and the fact that you actually notice a difference very quickly in very short order, it's this perfect little union of a product to really make a difference for people. Not only that you know that hey, it's actually making the effect and the difference that we're seeing on paper and seeing in the science, number one, but number two, it's also something that makes it very, 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 very simple to share and to get out there. And so we're excited about this product. We're excited for you to use it, but also you to use it to go build your business by it impacting and helping so many people that are out there, whether they're in your warm market, whether they're in your cold market, whether they're just some acquaintance you have personally or some acquaintance you have on social media. This definitely is a product that can absolutely make a huge difference for people out there. And so if you're watching the recording, share this recording so people can get educated on this product. If you are on here live and definitely want some of your fellow associates and affiliates to jump on, send them a last minute message, jump on and make sure that they are here and good to go. And so we're going to do it a little bit different this time than we did last time. We have a couple special guests on. One right now, waiting on another one to jump on and basically share with us on their personal experience on it, but also too, we're lucky not only their personal experience, but here a little bit later on this call, we're going to even talk about things that they're doing to share it or things they do that they know would definitely be successful to share it because two of them have had a lot of success in our space as well. And so we also have special guest Mr. Bronson Bonner, who is basically one of the integral parts of all things Nilo, but also a formulator and founder of EarthEnvi because he's had such a passion for these products, for these ingredients, and what they can definitely do to lift people up. So I love the name. I think it is the perfect name of this product, Social Lift. That's exactly what it does. It just gives you that little lift, that little edge to be able to, elevate what you're doing, all things social. And for me, many times my day social is just sitting here staring at a computer, whether it's on Zooms or whether it's working. But that does give me an absolute lift, throughout my day. And so, before we jump in with Bronson and get back to some of the details and specifics on the products and ingredients, I'm going to bring on Amber to kind of talk about her experience. I love it. Number one, from the first time she tried the product, she just fell in love. I think Bronson was telling me how much she was bugging him on I want more as he was testing and doing all
On a
his
daily
R&D,
basis, Nick. On a daily basis.
worrying him out. So I love passion, right? I think passion is one of the keys to success in everything in life, business, being a parent, relationships, but definitely in sharing it, right? If you're passionate about the product that you're on or talking about, you can definitely have success. And so when she was wearing them out on a daily basis, multiple times a day, she's definitely passionate about this product. So, and then guess what? At the time, she really didn't have anything to do with Nilo as a business, right? She was just more of a test subject. And so that person, it's not, she wasn't wanting it for the business side, she was wanting it for her personal use and for what it does. So Amber, please jump on. I'm going to highlight you here and share with everyone, your experience from the very get-go, but also your love for it, why you love it, and why you're excited about Social Lift.
Well, thanks for having me. Social Lift. So I got to be a part of the formulation testing about 4, maybe 5 months now. I was going through a really hard season in my life. It was really hard to be motivated to do anything. I struggled with happiness. It was a very, very hard season. And he had reached out and said, I think that this is something, this is something we're working on. I think this is something that would really help you. And I was really desperate to try anything. I have so many supplements. I'm obsessed with supplements, and I read the label and I look at what it says it's going to do. I'm like, okay, that's going to help me. But most of the things that I've tried, they don't. They don't to the degree in which I need it. And so sometimes I'll take supplements because I know it's good for me, but I don't feel that immediate impact. From the very first time I got to try Social Lift, I messaged them and I'm like, this stuff is amazing. I feel so good. Like when I try to like how do I explain like what does it mean that I feel so good? It's kind of like this visual that I come up with is like you come out of a really, really hard, cold winter, and then you have one sunny day and it's really bright and it's really warm and you feel so happy. That's how I feel when I use Social Lift every single time. And it's not like some supplements, they work in the beginning and then they kind of stop working. That for me, it's not like that at all. Every single time I take it, I feel so good. I feel very energized. I feel happy. I feel very locked in on whatever I'm doing. I joined Nilo as the marketing director, and I've been just working like 15-hour days. And I'm just at the computer cranking everything out, and it's not draining. It's just very, very energizing. It feels like fuel for me. And aside from like work, I'm very locked in with my children. I struggle with chronic fatigue. And so I take a lot of supplements, try to help my energy levels, get to the root reason for the fatigue. But every single time I take Social Lift, I never take naps. And I'm just like, go, go, go. I posted a video. I did a super deep clean of my kitchen after taking Social Lift. And it's like, I got on the counters with a vacuum and I vacuumed the dust off. Like, I was like so locked in the cleaning. And I love Social Lift so much. This is the only product I've ever taken in my entire life. And I've taken a lot that I love this much. And I want everyone to try it. It's all natural. I love the heart behind the company. Bronson, I was going through your website today and just reading the heart behind you and the company, your heart for veterans and for the earth and everything that you have in there. And the whole, I love everything about it. Everyone who knows me can tell when I've taken Social Lift. My boyfriend will say, "Does that stuff make you talk a lot?" Because I get allergic and I'm like super chatty. So I love it. I have nothing bad to say about it. I mean, the taste is not great, but I drink celery juice for fun, so it doesn't bother me. But I don't take a supplement because it tastes good. I take a supplement because it works, and this is something that absolutely works for me every single time.
I love it. I
Awesome.
love it. I went to a natural convention one time, and they actually had like a bunch of really good natural ingredients that we would all know, what they were. And you would literally go from one table to the next and taste them all, and it was just absolutely horrendous, right?
Yeah.
Because a lot of things that do come from the earth, that is just the way that it is, right? And
Mhm.
I don't think it tastes that bad, me personally. It is definitely something that's different, but it really stands out. But I mean, I love that hearing from you. And Amber, we haven't known each other long, but I know that, from what I hear about you, and then also from the interactions we've had, like she loves products, right? And, hearing about how passionate she was with this and the difference it makes. And so for those of you that are here on, if you haven't tried it yet, if one of those reasons is a reason for you to jump on, right? She talked about happiness, right? I loved her analogy on that, it's like you're coming through a long winter, and all of a sudden you have a sunny day. The reason I
Mhm.
played the sound of sunshine and happy was because that's exactly what this product does for people.
That song was perfect.
Everybody needs it, right? I don't, luckily I work from home, so I don't have to commute. But on just the drop off lines, dropping and picking my kids off, literally, I'm like, hey, you all should require to take Social Lift 15 minutes prior to going and dropping your kids off or picking them up, because pickup would just be a whole, me especially too, pickup would be so much better. But you guys
Mhm.
heard her analogies or stories, a lot of different things that will definitely help you on why you should take it, number one. But number two, all those are huge points on how you can share it, who you can definitely talk to people, share about. So Amber, stay on here. I'm going to bring on Scotty B, the one and only. But I'm going to come back to you a little bit on how you're sharing it, how you're talking about it,
Mhm.
but also on some different tips that you can bring to people on that here in just a little bit. So Scotty Merker, I met him probably 10 years ago, 9 years ago, and I'd heard of his name in the industry before. But it was interesting. I was with the company for a few years, and I was kind of on my way out transitioning. He was on his way in, but some people I respect a ton just said, "Oh my goodness, you got to talk with Scott. You got to talk with Scott. He's just, not only incredibly successful in this space, but just a top-notch man, top-notch individual." And so that was my first introduction to Scott. But in the past 9, 10 years, huge mutual respect, not only for what he does from the business standpoint, but also, the individual he is, but then also from the product standpoint. And very, very, very knowledgeable on products. He has built some of the largest organizations in our space. And so when Bronson and Orcon were starting to play a little bit with EarthEnvi early on, they sent some to Scott. And Scott, definitely kind of share your experience, your thoughts on the product, what you're experiencing, what you love about it.
Hey, Nick, thanks so much, brother. And Bronson, how you doing, brother? Great to
I'm
see
doing wonderful, man. Better than that, you're on.
you. Hey, thanks. It's great to actually see you for the first time, see the face and put the face with the voice. And Nick, thanks for the nice accolades, brother. There's no question it's absolutely a 100% mutual respect, man. I mean, my gosh, I was hearing your name so much, and obviously got a chance to start working with Eric and some other projects a while back, and and Orcon as I meet him. I mean, how fortunate to have such amazing leaders and numerous leaders in the field that have been attracted. You just don't see that very often, and so it's rightful to me that a product like this would be brought into Nilo life. Just like you said, Nick, I've been enamored with nutrition my entire life. I've a little bit undersized, so when I started swimming, literally when I was 5 years old, I took vitamins. I did things. I knew that if I could do things that were healthy, maybe it could give me a little bit of an advantage. It was not things that people did, so I literally was taking vitamins when I was a kid to hopefully maybe have a little competitive advantage or catch up with some of the bigger kids in swimming. And so I've always just taken natural stuff. I'm definitely not perfect, but I really try to focus on what I'm doing. As I'm getting older, it's becoming more and more of a focus as well. But the interesting thing is, for whatever reasons, I always deal with some mood swings, not massive, but I've dealt with some depression and some anxiety in my life as well. Sometimes I just don't have the focus where I would like it to be. So not unlike a lot of people, everybody has some things that they deal with. But I've always tried to, kind of like what Amber was saying, I always tried to find products that could support me and what I feel I need for myself. I try to be very in tune with what I feel I need. And I'm also very in tune when something works and doesn't work. And it's interesting because I know that feeling something doesn't mean, or lack of feeling something doesn't mean it's not working. I mean, outside of doing some blood tests or even the more advanced tests, you don't truly know what's going on at the cellular level in your body. However, when there's certain things that you can feel, and when it's so pronounced and it's so positive, there's no question that it's working. And that's exactly what happened when Orcon sent this to me. Nick, I think either you or Eric reached out and said, "Hey, Orcon's going to send this to you. Can you try it?" I said, "Yeah, I'd love to try it." And so I took one full square, and instantly within about 10 to 15 minutes, I started feeling it. And within 30 minutes, I mean, the first thought that came to my mind was Limitless, that movie. I remember watching that, but not so crazy out there like that. It was a very mild form, but truly a very noticeable form. And so I was just noticing, I'm sitting back saying, okay, this is my first time. What do I notice? And I felt incredibly focused. I had a very strong amount of clarity in my thoughts. And I'm kind of a serial entrepreneur, so I tend to have a lot of things going on, which can be good, but it also can be a little daunting because it's easy to get pulled. You got one email here, one text there, like we all deal with, whether it's social media, all these means of communication. And you might be locked in, focused on one thing, but then something comes in. It reminds me of like a cat's out there looking at a bird, then a squirrel goes and boom, the squirrel.
Squirrel.
Yeah. And sometimes I feel that way because there's so much going on, and thankfully there is, but it's no different than like what Amber's saying. If you got a couple of kids, if you're taking care of a house, if you're working a job, we all multitask. But the ability to be locked in and have that focus, the clarity of thought. But the other thing that was really interesting is I noticed that it increased not only the focus and the clarity, but it was the drive to accomplish was focused. And the beautiful thing for it, in the earlier part of my life, I would always call myself an optimistic optimist because beyond a shadow of a doubt, no matter what happened, I was always so optimistic. And now I'm probably more a realistic optimist, a little more realism in there. But man, it made me have that feeling of that optimistic optimism that I had when I was a lot younger, but still with the discernment. So it didn't take that discernment away. I'm like, man, this is unbelievable. And I know there's a lot of mixed results out there also going in a different direction on alcohol and drinking. And I grew up, I live in Kentucky. I grew up, drinking. We all did. I try to keep it very, very moderate, but I enjoy a cocktail or two. And I've really tailed it back down more to wine. I never really drank a lot except in school. We kind of partied a lot. But the thing that I like is I like going out. I like having a cocktail or two and being social. And I'm very social anyways, even without it, but I just enjoy it. But I've been trying to cut back some, and I'm like, but I kind of like that feeling. So what I did is I would take one of the we didn't have the name at the time, but one of the social lift. I would take like a half of one or a quarter of one. So what I started doing, I said, okay, let's look at situational awareness of this. And I started paying attention to what was going on. Like if I knew I had 4 or 5 hours where I really needed to be focused in on something, I would take a full one. The interesting thing though is what I noticed when I take it day after day after day after day early on, it did have a little bit of that memory effect. It started to dissipate a little bit in the results I was getting. Then I talked to Orcon and he said, don't take it for a couple of days. Kind of cycle on and off and notice the difference. And I definitely noticed the difference. So it does have, for me, may not be for other people. For me, it has a memory effect. So if anybody's seeing that, they can do that. The thing that I would say is the beautiful thing that I love about it, the way it's packaged, whether it's the powder or in the little cubes, is if somebody's a little, you hear all these things it's doing. Some people could give a little bit of anxiety, like, is it going to affect me too much? You can always start with a quarter of one and you can build up. And the same thing is if you're going to go do something, you may not want that full effect. If you're like me and it sounds like Amber, it might be a pretty strong effect. You may not want that much, or maybe it's in the evening. So just use a little bit of it. And that's one of the beautiful things that I think is so great about it is that it gives you the ability literally to kind of tailor it to use it to what's going to kind of fit your situation at the time. So I think for me personally, I think it's the absolute best product that we have because there's no question so many people need it. And I don't have children, but if I had children dealing with some of the anxiety or depression or stress or anybody in the military with PTSD, certainly that would be areas that I would focus. And again, if they want to start low and slow, like you tell people with many very powerful nutritional products and build up and find your place. But I think the benefit to so many people, I guess there's some people whose body may not react to it, but I would imagine probably in the upper 90 percentile are going to have a very positive, major reaction. And so many people need it today. It's not just a question of us having a product to sell. I think the need that's out there,
100%.
if they just get one bit of what I've got, my gosh, all these people that are dealing with all these drugs that they're having to take, especially these kids, which is heartbreaking. Imagine if something like this could be one of the things that moves them out of that arena. To me, that'd be the biggest win of all. So thank you, thank you, thank you. I can't thank you enough for it. And when I say customer for life, I'm a customer for life.
That's a
That's
lot.
awesome.
You've
Thank
taken
you,
a lot
brother.
of, top-notch, incredible products over your life and your career, and it definitely speaks volumes. So stay on. I know that you have a hard stop here, the middle of the hour. I want to come back to you.
I'm good. I got that pushed back a little bit, brother. So we're good.
Okay, perfect. I'm
Thank you.
gonna bring Bronson on, and so we just heard on basically, from Amber and Scott, all the different, benefits that they've seen. And they both mentioned a ton, right? Amber talked about how, just happiness, right? It's like a summer day that just came out of winter. I love that analogy. She talked about how it keeps her laser focused, talked about how it brings her definitely a lot of energy throughout the day. Scott talked about, the social lift aspect of it, what it does, but also be able to stay focused and get his different tasks throughout the day. So tons of different benefits that come from it. And so when Scott said, hey, there's a lot of people that need this, I highly, 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 highly agree. And I think that's why, Bronson originally said, hey, I want to take this to market. And so, share a little bit your story. I know that Amber hit on a little bit about how it's all for veterans and, the big basically message and purpose behind this. But I know you created it for a specific purpose. It's crazy that there's so many benefits have come from that, where this is going to impact so many people that, like Scott said, absolutely truly need it. But this is also a product that is so incredible that you notice that it's that people want it. You saw like Amber's energy and Scott's energy, they want it. So that need,
Yeah.
that want, but definitely go in on, what it was created for, kind of the benefits you're trying to hit on and your story behind it and basically the purpose. And then we're going to come back in, bring Amber and Scott back on and really talk about how we can share it and make it easier for you to share it and get it out to people. Bronson?
All right. Thank you, Amber and Scott. That was awesome, man. That truly hit me in the feels right there, hearing how much you guys love something that I created. That really means a lot. But the where I got the idea from it stems back a long time ago. I joined the Air Force in 2009, and I was stationed in Japan for a few years. And while I was there, I noticed that the people, they just seemed they weren't on all the different drugs that we're on here. They mainly we're on natural supplements, natural products, you know, and especially the people down in Okinawa, you know, they're living for a lot longer than we live. And that was one of the things I noticed, that they were just always taking natural supplements. And then so throughout my travels throughout the Southeast Asia and all those areas, I noticed that there was some similarities in products they were using, especially like if you go out at night and like Scotty was talking about, having a few drinks, you know, you'd go into these places called kava bars, and they wasn't drinking alcohol, they wasn't doing anything, they wasn't in there smoking cigarettes and all this, you know, they're just having a good time sitting around with a wooden bowl, drinking like a muddy water. And so that piqued my curiosity. So I started using kava on its own. And then I found in Indonesia, they were using a plant called Mitragina speciosa. It's a tree. It's a member of the coffee family, and they use it for energy. It was used hundreds of years ago by the farmers. They would chew on the leaves, and that just got them going all day long. And then I decided, hey, since I'm taking these two products, let me see what it's like to combine the products. So I combined them, and that's where it came from. I was just using it for my personal use. I wasn't planning on selling it or anything like that. But then I started sharing it with people, and that's where the idea, hey, I need to bring this to the world. I would like for people to feel the benefits of this without having to go to the pharmacy and get on medication you're hooked for years. It's expensive. That's not what I was wanting. So I wanted to make this product. I wanted to only have two ingredients in it. There's literally only two active ingredients. It's the kava and the Mitragina speciosa. The kava, it's more of a relaxation feel. It's actually called the relaxation root. We use the roots of the plant. And then the Mitragina speciosa, it's more of an uplifter. They call that the energy leaf. So when you mix the two together, like Amber and Scotty mentioned, you just get this unique, euphoric, social ability. Like Amber said, her boyfriend knows when she's on it because she's talking a lot. That's what it does. That's what it does for 90% of I'd say probably 100% of the people that I've talked to. I'm not really a big social guy, you know. I'm kind of reserved and I stick to myself. And a couple of days ago, I was in I was in Home Depot, and I had taken it, and I was just talking to a random stranger about fly traps. He was looking at fly traps, and I realized that I had that same fly trap. So I went up to him and just started talking about that. And he even made a comment. He said, you know, it's pretty rare to see a young man come up and talk to an old man like this.
Love it.
And I said, well, hey man, I gave him the link to buy Social Lift. I said, maybe if they take this more often, you might have it a little bit more often. So he actually bought some of the Social Lift too. So that was pretty cool.
That's awesome.
But for the benefits, it helps achieve a focus, like carefree flow state. We've had people contact me, letting me know that they've been using it for their workouts. So it makes them, I mean, I don't really know the science behind how it's good for a workout, but I guess because it puts them in a good focused flow state where it's like a mind muscle connection that they have. So they said they're lifting more weights. I mean, that's not a medical statement, but they're telling me they're lifting more weights, they're working out for longer. They're actually having more fun in the gym because, you know, a lot of people, they'll put their headphones on, they don't want to talk to anybody. But they're actually talking to people in the gym. They're just having a really good time there. So that's something that I've helped. And I had a lady contact me about a week ago, and she's a Nilo Life member, and she's been struggling with signing up members. And she says so she bought our product, and she says since then she's enrolled more people in the last couple of weeks than she enrolled in the half a year that she's been a member of Nilo Life. So it does help in that aspect. So that's perfect for
It's because it's easier for her to share, basically, is what you're saying?
It's easier for her to share it. It's easier for her to get out there and talk to people and recruit them and share the products.
Disclaimer, buying Social Lift may help you build your business just by surely.
Exactly. Social lift
Not
may make you
guaranteed, but people are experiencing it for sure. So that's awesome. So
yeah,
cool.
and so not only that, we've had people contact us about, I mean, we don't say that it's a pain relief substance or supplement or anything like that, but we had a guy contact us and said, "Hey man, you didn't tell me this was going to help with my back pain." He's been having back pain for years. He took that and he said that the pain was virtually gone. So I mean, it's helping people in so many different aspects that's just it's amazing to me. So I love the product. Everybody else that we've sent it to is loving the product. So you need to try it. That's the whole thing. If you try it, you're gonna love it. You're gonna want to share it, and it's gonna be an amazing time.
No, 100%. You definitely need to try it for sure. And all these different benefits, we all have one or two of them. Like for me, when I think about it, I haven't thought about working out, so I'm going to try that.
Yeah.
Try the working out part and then try the taking it to do workout too. But for me, like I get most tense and most like at pick up and drop off, just being honest, right? And so that's the time like I need to take it per day. But then also too, when I have a million things going on, like Scott said and Amber said, just being focused. So many different benefits. You're going to definitely see something from it. And like Scott said earlier, this is a need for so many people, but also a massive want from hearing different Scott and Amber. So love it. Love the story. Love how it came together. I love the natural side of it, and the impact it can definitely have. And so we're going to come back to Bronson here a little bit, and he's going to kind of share too. He gave us one tip on just with him talking about the product, and all it was he was just being social and hanging out and visiting with the guy, and the guy just made a comment, and that opened the door for him to make a really simple thing. Well, this is the reason you should jump on and take a look. And so I love that. Conversations do create questions. They do create opportunities to share the amazingness that we have of this product. For Amber and Scott, people that I know, they've taken tons of products, seen some of the best supplements in the world to say this is, the best product we have, and the best thing they've taken is absolutely massive. But I'm going to bring Scott back on real quick, talk to him briefly, and then we'll go with Amber next on how they share it, and how they. Let me see. I'm going to highlight you again. Spotlight for you there, Scott. So you have built some of the largest businesses in our industry. I've heard great things from 25 years ago to 10 years ago to 15 years ago, even recently. And so I know that your love and excitement for this was twofold. Number one, the experience you got, but number two, how simple this will be to go share because of that, the impact. So maybe share your thoughts on that, and then A, and then B, how you think the simplest way this would be for someone to go and build their business around social lift.
Yeah. So appreciate that. And Bronson, thanks so much for sharing, brother. It's great to get more insight directly, and hear why this came together, how it came together.
Thank you.
And also let me know where I can buy one of those hats. I'll wear it a lot.
All right.
Just that name. Are they available to buy?
Not yet. They will be soon.
Well, as soon as they are, because I believe that right there, when being around people and when you're taking this, you're not going to want to sit behind a computer all day. You'll want to be out actually talking to people.
Exactly.
So combination of the two, EarthEnvi. And the reason I like the EarthEnvi versus the Nilo Life is I'm a big believer in controlling the process. And I'll share with you what I mean. In today's world, when people see something, a lot of times the first thing they do is they jump on a phone and they start to Google it. And we all know, just like behind MLM and all these horrible characters out there that buy the top ad spots, why Amway is a pyramid, why Amway, robs you, all this stuff. If somebody's looking at Amway, that's the first thing they see. And most people don't have enough discernment to know that they shouldn't pay attention to that. So, with EarthEnvi, nobody's going to put anything up there thinking anything about network marketing. So you're safe. And I believe EarthEnvi is going to get people to ask questions about it. So I think the first thing, just being out and about, the old school way of talking to people, actually talking to real people, that would be the best thing. The second thing is when you're actually directly approaching people. Many of us know people in our families that maybe are a little more introverted. Maybe they deal with social anxiety. Maybe it's somebody who has PTSD. All of us have somebody in our family, most likely, that's a veteran. Many people know that children deal with things. And adults, a lot of times we know this in our inner circle. So our inner circle would be the next best place to go. And again, you don't have to say a word about Nilo Life to start. It's all focusing on what this can do for them. The ultimate goal is to help them. That truly is the ultimate goal. And if this is something that helps them, where do they get it? Well, they get it from Nilo Life. So we're going to build our business by focusing on helping other people first and achieving those outcomes. On social media, I've got a good friend of mine, and he's one of the top people in the world of social media. He's helped rulers of countries, people who are running for the equivalent of presidential elections. He's done a lot of work with one of the two parties here at the highest level in their campaigns and social media. So he actually knows the people that are like the executive vice presidents, people that are in head of all the social media companies. And so he understands the algorithm, and he's a good friend of mine. He's also got another good friend that owns a very successful MLM. So when he's been in there, he's asked them a lot about home-based business and how that works on social media. And the interesting thing is 99% of the people do social media wrong, because social media, you got to think of what their goal is. And this is important. I'll get to why I'm going to share what I'm going to be sharing with this on social media, the way I will. The goal of social media is for people to stay on as long as possible, because their money's made through advertising. And anything that gets people to click off of social media, they don't like. Well, guess what? One of the top things that gets people to exit out of a social media app that they're in or on their website, it's when they see somebody's post for multi-level marketing. It absolutely is at the very top of things that people click off on, along with somebody who's just pissed them off politically. Religious used to be up there, but it's not near what it used to be. So it really is political and home-based business that's at the top. So what that says is, you don't want to post anything directly about a home-based business company. You don't want to post the name of your company. You don't want to post the name, or trademark or anything. So what you want to do is you want to do things that will create curiosity, pique interest. And he shared with me the way their algorithms are set is that's why if somebody, and you see it all the time, somebody brand new gets on and, oh, you got to get this product, or who needs to make money? And it's so different than what they've been doing. It's out of line. And they've got the intelligence to know that. If you normally post about dogs because you're a dog fan, and you normally post about beaches because you're a beaches and maybe some kind of sports team, then all of a sudden 30, 40, 50% of your posts are about a product or an MLM or a financial opportunity, they're going to dial down your engagement. And so what he told me, they've said the best thing to do for somebody in home-based business is, if you've not posted anything, you start posting maybe 1 out of 10 posts. Don't ramp up your posting a lot. Also, don't instantly start. If you post once a day, don't start doing 2 or 3 times a day. Maybe do 2 today, 1 tomorrow, 1 the next day, 2 the next day, 1 the next day, 2 the next day. Very slowly go into it, but we're building a business over the next few years, right? So if you'll do that and then slowly integrate maybe 1 out of 10 or so for a month or two, and then 1 out of 8, and then maybe 1 out of 6 at the most, he said. You don't ever want it to be that much. And again, these posts are not saying your company's name. They're not saying a specific branded product or something. You're doing things that are relational to that. So for example, post something about the economy. Wow, I can't believe that credit card debt has increased 53% from 900 billion to 1.23 trillion in the last few years. Or wow, I can't believe, something like this, or who's affected by this, or how do you feel about that? Hey, does anybody know anybody that deals with anxiety or depression? I'm checking on something just to see. Is anybody that has social anxiety? Wow, you know what? I deal with some of this. Does anybody else have anything? Does anybody know anything that might be a great solution? So you're posing questions, and or maybe you see a study, and you post this on here, but again, you've built up to this. If you never posted anything about PTSD or about depression or anxiety, you don't start crushing that. So I'm going to keep it short, but I think you kind of get where I'm going with that. If you get that tone, if you'll start building in your social media this way, you won't have all your friends not paying attention. More importantly, you won't have the social media companies dialing back your engagement and not serving up what you want on people's timelines or their walls or whatever you call them on the individual resources. People are like, I'm posting all this stuff, but nobody's seeing it. Well, guess what? Because they're doing that on purpose. So you got to beat their algorithm by doing this. But things that, and trust me, watch this. When you start doing things that ask questions of people, you're engaging with them, you will see more comments, more likes than posting any other thing that you can post out there, because people like to engage and people like to help. Hey, can anybody do me a favor? I'd really appreciate it. I'm checking into something on children that are dealing with depression and anxiety. Does anybody deal with that, or anybody know anything that's a good potential solution? But now the second piece, and this is the second piece, but if you want to engage in social media versus talking to people direct as a primary, you need to go back and engage in the comments. And the key to it, they said, is be authentic. Like if you have 30 comments, don't put, oh, thank you, that's great. Oh, thank you, that's great. Oh, thank you, that's great. because they pick up on that too. It's like you copy and paste it. No, you need to say, hey, that's a great point. I never thought of that. I haven't heard of that. If something really interests you, say, hey, can you share more with me on that? If they like it, notice the likes, and you can go back in and say, hey, I noticed you like this. Don't try to say, hey, I've got a product for you. Again, ask them to give. So you're giving to give versus giving to get. Say, I saw that you like my thing. Do you know anything that might be of benefit to somebody for that? So again, never sell, never promote, never recruit on the front end. It's like if you ever watched a couple dancing, and normally when you're watching a couple dance, you've got like a man who's leading a woman and they're doing a dance. So what you're doing in this social media thing, the analogy he gave me, he said it's literally just like you're doing a dance. You're leading your person down the line. Then eventually you'll know when you get to that point where it's okay to say something. Say, well, here's one of the things that I've tried and I've found that it works as well. Is that something you would like to have some information on as well? But what happens is you're now in a conversation. So now the conversation's going on. So you have the permission to share something with them. Maybe they say, yeah, I've got some friends that do that. So, well, here's something through all my conversations and everything I've been doing that I've found that is also working as well. Perhaps you might want to share this with your friends. So again, not to take too long, guys, but this comes from a guy that literally dealt with one of our two parties at the highest level and deals with royal families around the world. And he interfaces with these people in social media. And if you think about it, here's the thing he said to me. He said, Scott, listen to what I'm saying and ask yourself, when you see things, how do you feel? And as soon I can tell when somebody's joined a new MLM instantly, because if I am seeing anything, it's like, oh my gosh, who needs to make more money? Oh, this product's great. Who needs to lose weight? You need to try XZZ.23.5. It's just sell, 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 recruit, recruit, recruit. It doesn't feel good to me. And instantly I know because I know, but just ask yourself how you feel when you see people doing that, or when they come at you in your inbox. Hey, do you need to make more money? Oh my gosh, you got to try this new business. Man, people are making a fortune. How does that make you feel? And guess what? If you're doing that, it's how you're making other people feel. So, Nick, I hope that kind of maybe gives a spectrum between direct out there talking to people directly to the other end of social media that can be benefit.
No, I love it. I mean, huge, great tips, obviously. And I knew you'd deliver on it. I was excited when Bronson said you were going to jump on, not only to hear your story from the product side, but also to help some people, give them some really great ideas on getting out there and sharing it. And he said a bunch on not only person to person, individual, but also some great strategies from social media. A lot of them kind of just revolve around asking really good questions, right? Where do those questions come from? They come from the benefits of what the product's happening, right? And so you can literally create lists of each individual benefit that this product gets you, and then go back and share with them. But it's so easier to do it with the conversation, Scott.
Hey, Nick, how about maybe you and Bronson get together and put together a benefit list and areas that the product we're seeing that it's providing positive benefit to people in, and just make a little one-page PDF and say, use your personality and imagination to take these areas and what resonates with you, and use that as a direction when you're doing your social media post.
No, I love it.
I
We
love
can
that
definitely put
idea.
that together for sure. Bronson will be all over that. Just an example of that, like for me, like I'm always joking and messing around. And so the drop off is a tough thing for me. The pickup is a tough thing for me. I'm in an area that there are, I mean, literally hundreds of cars that say student driver, please be patient on stickers that they've actually put on their car. And it's needed. And so on a multiple times on each individual short mile drive, there are people that are not following the laws, do what they're doing. And so I joke about it a lot, but that's something I could joke on social media. It's something I could joke individually for it, and then come back and say, hey, but here's what really helps me the most get through it without, you know, losing something or getting in trouble or costing me money or costing me something, is this product. And so that how my personality would be telling the story of what happened today, because I'll have a story. I had two this morning. I'll have some this afternoon to pick up. And so you use your personality and intertwine the benefits that come within it. And that literally is the secret sauce and how to be successful. So love it.
One other thing I will share, because it's kind of been a lost art, but I know you remember this. There was a company called Metabolife, and there were some other companies out there that before they made the ingredient illegal, which was a horrible thing to do, but it had ma wong in it. And when you would take it, very similar to this, you would feel it instantaneously. And people were losing weight, having all kinds of great benefits. Obviously, not going to go into what happened with that, but it was forced to be taken off the shelf, I believe, because it was doing so much good. But sampling has kind of gone by the wayside because it's hard to sample juices. It's hard to sample a vitamin pill. People take a vitamin pack, they're not going to notice anything. This is probably the first product that I can think of, and I don't know how long, that literally being able to have this little 2 serving packet, that if you're just sampling with people, I would believe that, I might just try it myself and see. I will, because I would imagine, I can't believe maybe more than 1 or 2 out of 10 don't notice something. I would imagine probably 4 or 5, if not more, out of that 9 or 8 are going to want to get the product. And so what do we get 10 of these for, was it $59, I think?
Yeah,
That's
So
MSRP. It's
that's the
$39.99 on Nilo.
yeah, so oh yeah, that's right, 39. So for $40, so basically the $4 sample, how can you beat that? If you sample 10 of these a month and you get one new person on your team, even one new customer, I mean, that I'll do that transaction all day long. So
dude.
I just hit my mind when you were talking, Nick, talking about getting out with people and talking and pickup. You don't even
What
need
I
to pick up.
prepared to share on today was specifically sampling. I think it is
Oh,
the
okay,
simplest
sorry.
and easiest. No, you're confirming it because to me, it is simple. And I mean, I'm a guy that I don't always say the perfect thing. Sometimes I put my foot in my mouth. Sometimes my jokes aren't funny. But when I can put something in their hands that does the selling for me, that works for me, it is simple and easy. And so I believe that sampling, someone could literally say, okay, I'm going to do a research project. I'm going to put duct tape over my mouth and I'm going to go out and build my business with this product. You could by putting duct tape over your mouth and just saying, hey,
Hey, you just gave me an idea. If you have a pet, take your pet out and put a little sign over it says, "Want to feel better? Try this." And what are you talking
It
about? What do you mean?
really is
Oh,
with this product, it really is that simple. And so we talk about what to say, how to say it. Yes, questions are the answer. Yes, benefits is going to really create a big list, and asking questions is going to create a big list. At the end of the day, if you sell them for $4 for the sample or 5 or whatever you want to turn to profit, $10 doesn't matter, and then they get on it. If you get these in people's hands, you are going to convert them to customers and or potential affiliates for sure. So
well,
I love that you brought that up.
hey, brother, I'll close on this one. If to build a business, if somebody spent $40 a month and sampled 10 people a month, that's 120 over the next year. I'm not a bettor, but I would virtually guarantee that their business in the next 12 months will be significantly, not just a little, significantly bigger. And if they teach their team to do that, and I think anybody can find $40 a month, should be able to, hopefully so, to market their business. And if they do that for a year, there's no question their life is going to be significantly different a year from now.
Yeah, so I do train. I've done it for years. Ask that question. Hey, if you were successful just 10% of the time, what would your business look like 6 months, 12 months, 24 months? And then your whole team's doing the exact same thing.
Yeah.
And that's just one of the people saying yes. And with this product, because it is a difference, I think it's going to be more closer to the 4, 5, 6, 7, plus. And you and your team doing that, it can definitely lead to a
Yeah.
whole lot of fun for sure. And even equally as important, a lot more happy people in the world, it was definitely needed for sure.
Well, in final and closing, maybe for you guys as owners, take a look at every one of the leaders around the world that leads a major country and maybe send a package of this to them. I mean, obviously they'll have their people research it, but imagine if all the leaders in the world took this. We could have people agreeing a lot more and we'd have a lot nicer world. So maybe as a company initiative, send it out to all the world's leaders and let's see what happens.
It is an impactful product for sure. I think it's going
Yeah.
to make a massive difference. So, Scott, appreciate you jumping on. Thanks for your tips, your thoughts for sure. I'm going to transition over to Amber because Amber, same thing, has had a ton of success in our space. She's done a lot of things person to person, but she's also had a lot of success on social media as well. And so I know you've been posting some of your experience with people. You've been kind of, kind of mixed in some of the benefits that you're seeing, some of the reasons you're loving it. So if you can, please kind of share how you're sharing and how you think people can definitely take this to the next level by sharing this product.
Yeah, I love the 80/20 rule when you're sharing on social media. You share your life, you share who you are authentically. You want to build that trust with your people so that when you do share a product, they trust you. Versus, I know that when you start a business, it's really exciting to share about it and you just want to spam, 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 spam. You lose your trust with your audience. So, Scotty, I think that your tips are really fantastic. And I was going to say, I bet you've had your gummies today because the creativity is flowing, the energy is there. I bet I'm right. And so, yeah, he shared about samples. And one thing I can share with you that Orkhan just told me. So we have these sample packs and he was showing it. You guys probably haven't been able to purchase them. So we can't sell the sample packs. But when you check out, put in the notes, they'll put some baggies in there, empty baggies. So you can sample from your supply to give out to your friends and your family. And sampling is the most impactful way that I have been sharing in person. I work from home and I have 4 kids and I don't really go out a whole lot. But when I do, I definitely have these with me and I share them. I just give it to them. I don't give a lot because I am stingy. I had a guy come over the other day. I gave him 1 pack and he grabbed another one. I was like, those are mine. But I'm getting more. Bronson sending me some more. So this is a really, really good product to share. I love how, I think Scotty shared earlier that imagine the impact for people who struggle with things that they would want to turn to drugs or alcohol or other things to alleviate that aren't good for us. Imagine the trajectory of their life. Bronson, I'm so proud of you. I feel like a proud sister over here. Just imagine just the trajectory of their life and the change. It makes me very excited. When I share, I like to share authentically. I invite people into my life, so I share what I'm doing with my children. And so I make sure my posts and my stories also reflect the same style. So I did a story and it was a time-lapse video of me doing a super deep clean of my kitchen. Super easy to do things like that. And it's not disconnected from the message that I've already been putting out there. You know, I'm a stay-at-home mom with 4 kids and I work from home. But the 80-20 rule, just being authentic to your voice, building the trust with your people, it's really easy to lose that trust. And so you want to be intentional. And I like how Scotty had mentioned, don't think of this as like a short game. This is a long-term game, you know, so just sprinkle a little bit here and there, give out as many samples as you can. Follow up. The follow-up is really important. I think that's the piece a lot of people miss. You follow up with your person like, hey, did you try your gummy today? How do you feel? Maybe you can kind of say, hey, try half a gummy, see how you feel. And just the follow-up is really good. Samples are really, really great. But I've been telling people like, I can give you a sample and you're going to love it, but you're going to hate me because now you can't get any more until your order arrives in a week and a half, you know? So, I like to lean into that purchasing the bag because I know they're going to love it. But, yeah, that's how I share.
Love it.
It's easy to share. So I just talk.
Yeah, and you integrated it with a life post, right? Hey, here's my life. I'm a stay-at-home mom. I'm working, clean the house. None of us like to do that. And so people have a tendency to relate with what you're doing there, right? And they're watching and you're able to sprinkle in the business. So you're not spamming people. It's not like, hey, I'm pitching you on this. It's like, hey, you know, this just help me do it. So I love that. And yeah, they both said, like sprinkle it in. I love your 80-20 rule on life, but then also the product and how it can definitely impact and benefit life for sure. So all good stuff. Any final words, Amber or Scott, before you jump off?
You touched on this earlier, but I started using it and loving it before I was connected with Neolife at all. And I don't share anything unless I absolutely love it. I'm a very honest person. So if I'm here telling you that this will change your life, that this is absolutely amazing, there's a lot of weight that backs that up. It is really that good. And I think that everyone needs to at least try it. If you're not selling it, just try it.
Agree completely. Absolutely love that. And when it comes to the samples, I mean, same thing. If you put that in there, like Amber said, they'll give you some baggies. I've ordered these just on Amazon. They're real simple. They're real economical to show up.
Yeah, Orkhan said just write in the notes that you want sample baggies and then he'll throw some in there until
And if you forget to, that's completely okay. You can find them a lot of places. I like these because you can write a little note on the back for them. And so, you know, have a couple of those ready, you know, in your vehicle at all times, have them with you in the house to where you can hand those out and be there in the opportune time, right? Like literally, I could be at pickup complaining on the person that can't drive. Be like, wait a second, you got to take one of these because it's the only reason I didn't drive over them with my truck was because I took this 30 minutes ago. And you've definitely got to try it out. It's definitely a piecing. So it definitely brings it. And Scott did say, you asked him if he took one today. He said he took one right at the 20-minute mark. So he said you are
you can
100%.
tell.
So the key is get out there, right? You heard a ton of different benefits on reasons and different peoples and different categories of people that you can talk to. They've talked on social media strategy, talked on strategy individually. Sampling, I think, is the best way. This is going to be your best salesperson. I can get the best, you know, salesperson in the world. We have a handful of them in our business already. And this right here alone is going to do a better job than the words that come out of their mouth because it works, it's impactful, and it makes a difference. And so that's absolutely huge when it comes to sharing. And so we're excited. We're excited. And, you know, I love the fact that Scott went into numbers. I'm a huge numbers guy. And so he talked on, hey, if you were just to sample 10 people, whether it's a week or a month, right? A week, it compounds those times a lot. But if you sponsor 10 people a month, and half of those are successful. That's 5 new people that join your business every single month over the course of 12 months. It's not 60, it will compound, it will grow even more than that. And then you take you and 5 people doing that, right? That's an extra 300 people, extra 1,000 people that are on your team, between now and the end of the year. So that is absolutely powerful. Amber?
Yeah, I just want to share one more thing. If you're in here and you're doing the business in Neelo Life, it's super simple to share a link to one product. And so that's what I just did in my stories. I did a video this morning talking about it, and then I posted my own life converted link that is directly connected to me. So in your back office, I think it's under resources, then you go to direct to customer, you
I'm
find
glad
your
you brought
product.
that up because Bronson and I jumped on before I went over it. So I'm going to do this where. So under resources, direct to
Yes.
consumer, go ahead, walk them through it.
Yeah, so click direct to consumer and then type in the product that you're trying to share. And so they're not going to a page with 100 products. They're going to exactly what you're talking about. And then you just copy that over. That right there tells you your commissions when they purchase retail. If they do subscribe and save, it's a little bit less. But yeah, so in my stories, because you can add stickers on your videos or your posts. And so I just put my link in there and said, purchase it here. You actually get free shipping if someone purchases with your life converted link. Right, Bronson? I think Mark
Yes.
mentioned that the other day. So they can get free shipping and they can get, subscribe and save. I subscribed and saved to get it every single week. I was like, Bronson, that might be overkill.
So love it. Very simple to share. I'm glad you brought that up because I had those all ready to go and share. So under resources, direct to consumer, and then we have a lot of products, right? We have a marketplace. It's awesome how much we have and the what we have. But type in Earth or Social Lift, it's going to pull up. You have your copy link right here. This will take you. You can always go and see exactly what the page looks like. But copy your link, send that directly to them. Makes it real simple. Breaks out how much you'll earn when they say yes. And what I love about the fact that $4, for this can earn me this, and I believe that you're going to have a very high conversion rate. That's good math, right? That's growing. That's growing a lot of things. So love it, love it, love it. Bronson, I have not called on you as much as I wanted to or I planned on, but we've had such great,
Hey,
amazing.
they've been doing an amazing job, man.
So let's talk product. Let's talk anything else you want to add to on the product or the impact it can make on people. And then you can close us out.
It's a simple product. There's not a whole lot to point on it. It's a 2 ingredient product that works. For me, I just want to thank everybody for being here, and I hope you guys get in there, buy it, and share it with everybody, because there's a lot of people in the world that can benefit from something like this, and like I mentioned earlier, there's a lot of people taking medications that they don't need to be taking. They're spending a lot of money on the stuff they don't need to be spending money on. And this is just one product that can help a lot of people in many facets of their life. So just give it a try. And it's 80% CV, so you don't have too much to lose there. So
Yeah. And like I said, it's simple. It's a simple product from the ingredient standpoint. It's simple to share. I literally would love to do a challenge where, go put duct tape on your mouth, go up to somebody and say, hey,
mhm,
and then, put your phone out and say, give it 15 minutes and put a timer on. And then
exactly.
they're going to start talking to you and saying, what is this? Like, what is it doing? What are the questions going on? So it really is that simple. The more you can impact yourself, the more you can experience yourself and your story, do it. I know I did a training in Orlando talking about how to share, and I talked about using your why or using their why a lot. Your why is the benefits you get from it. So you got to try it, you got to order it yourself and experience it yourself. And that makes it simple to talk about how it's impacted you. You saw that Scott and Amber both made it real simple to say, hey, here's how I experience it and the stories that they're sharing. But then the benefits and knowing who you're talking to, or knowing if they comment on something you post on social media, is just that next little step to where you can ask them those engaging questions and ask them how it can definitely impact them. And that's like step 2. Step 1 is here, try this out, wait 15 minutes, tell me what you think, and then start answering their questions on it. So
Now,
excited.
one thing I would tell you, that if you're sharing it with people, to let them know, and for those of you who have not taken it before, you will have a slight numbness in your mouth when you take it, and that's the kava doing its work. That's just when you have a very pure natural kava, that's what it does to you. So don't let them be alarmed. They'll probably want to spit it out because they don't know what's going on. But like Amber mentioned earlier, the flavor's not great. We got it tasting as the best we can without messing with the integrity of the gummy. You know, we don't want it to melt in your pocket. So we got as much flavor in there as possible, but with the natural, like we mentioned earlier, with natural ingredients, it's just virtually impossible to make them taste good. So the flavor's not going to be great. So don't be alarmed. Tongue's going to go numb. Don't freak out. It's all good. And there is one more thing that I wanted to mention. Some of you that live in Alabama, Arkansas, Indiana, Rhode Island, Vermont, or Wisconsin, we currently cannot ship to those states due to regulatory issues with the Mitragina speciosa. It is that list used to be larger. It's shrinking. There's a lot of people in Washington fighting for it to get this on the market everywhere. So you can't check out right now, but hopefully in the near future you'll be able to. I just wanted to throw that in there in case you're freaking out when you can't buy it in the shop. So
Love it. Excited. Thank you, Scott. Thank you, Amber. Bronson, always a pleasure to have you on. And thank you guys for sharing your experiences and also your tips to help people, not only experiences it for themselves, but also to make the world much happier and better. So appreciate y'all. Thanks for jumping on. And we will see you next week on the next
thank
week's
you guys.